Welcome back. It's season 3, and we're off to the Baltic. It's very exciting. We've been lucky in our lives to have seen many things in many places, but the Baltic is brand new for us. The Scandinavian nations, the Baltic states, and then the coasts of Poland, Germany, and beyond. We'll have some very nice sailing. We'll see some amazing things, natural and human historic, so please join us. We'll also discuss a few Schengen visit alternatives in our later videos this season. And for those of us not from Europe, how do we manage to stay in Schengen zones when we're limited to 90 days out of any 180-day window? Well, there's a couple of alternatives on how to manage that. We'll share those in some later videos this season. And then, in addition to the travels, we like to get to 1,000 subscribers this year. I know, we don't ask you guys for much. Last year we did ask where in the world you are, but that's it. So this time, we'd like to ask you about subscriptions. We are a little over 400 subscribers. So if each one of you had a friend who might be interested in seeing what we're doing, and we could get them to sign up, that would get us to 1,000 pretty quickly, certainly sometime during the season. There's some reasons for that with the algorithms. So if we can get to 1,000, that'd be great. Thank you in advance if you're able to help. So, we're on our way. First, back to the boat.
Hey, we're just sitting here in Frankfurt Airport. We're waiting for the next flight to Copenhagen, and tomorrow we'll get to go see the Northern Brees. We're just chilling. It's a long night, but we're really excited.
We get an overnight flight from Detroit to Copenhagen through Frankfurt, and we grab a hotel, enjoy the city for a day.
Here we are at beautiful Copenhagen train station. We're in the city center. Not really sure how we got here. It's always an adventure.
The jet lag getting here, 6 hours, means we don't often travel once we arrive. We settle in. Let's enjoy this city. We only get to spend one afternoon here, and it's a beautiful place. The downtown core is very alive with people on this Friday afternoon.
It's a festival.
The open spaces are beautiful. The palace also. And bicycles. So many bicycles.
It's a bull?
Feeling like a dragon, I think.
Oh, okay.
She shops down in a little alley.
And lots of canals. Taxes here on alcohol are quite high, so the restaurant prices reflect this. So, many people, you just simply like to socialize and hang out downtown, grab a beverage and sit along the canals and watch the world go by. It's a pretty nice place to be.
Friday night in Copenhagen. On the moat of the castle. Unfortunately, due to terrorism, there's bollards all in front of the castle. It's truly too bad that there isn't more love in this world. Inside the palace walls here in Copenhagen.
The Royal Palace here is quite open, and we're able to casually stroll through later in the day.
beautiful buildings.
It's been a lovely visit. We'll need to come back here soon. There's so much to see, and we barely touched it. The next day we rent a car and we travel to Mao, full of anticipation to see the breeze. Since we left her floating last season, it's been a nervous wait to get a chance to get back to her and see how she made
There
out.
she is, the Northern Brees, the tallest girl in the room. We're back. She's looking great. Ready for those sails and a little air. And time to float. Thank you very much.
He said he had to tie the windmill because if the windmill blade was up,
Yeah?
it wouldn't fit through the door. He had to tie the windmill like this.
Ah, really?
Through the door. All is well. But before we go sailing, we have work to do. First, the rear main seal on our engine has a small leak. This is a Perkins 418 4-cylinder diesel from the UK originally, but it's a special 4108. I don't know if there's any other ones like this one. Originally, they were designed in the late 1950s, early 1960s, and they were built all the way into the 1980s. And we got one of the final production ones, so they are pretty proven technology. They are very reliable. However, they have that 1950s standard design of a rope seal on the rear main bearing. And that was a common design in the 1950s and 60s for farm engines like this thing was. It was used in tractors and generators and refrigeration units. It's an industrial engine. And the farmers didn't mind if they were self-lubricating. And what I mean by that, if they leaked. And they leaked oil. Rope seals leaked oil. That was just part of engines back in those days. So, about 20 years ago, a mechanic in Amsterdam took a shot at trying to fix that. He made up a new bracket that would fit onto the back of a Perkins 4108, and it would take a modern design, a modern one-piece lip seal. So that's what we have. It seals on the flywheel flange on the crankshaft instead of on the original position very close to the rear main bearing. Since this flange wasn't intended to be a sealing surface, it wasn't polished as such, and so we have to occasionally replace this seal. We last replaced it in Canada many thousands of miles ago and well over 1,000 engine hours ago, so it's not too bad to have to do it that often. The seal cost is 18 Canadian dollars, so it's not expensive, but this job takes most of the day. We have to release the prop shaft, remove the transmission, starter motor, bell housing, flywheel, and then put it all back together again. It's not difficult, it's just time consuming, and a little messy because it's been leaking oil. While we were in here, we found that our damper, which goes between the engine flywheel and the transmission, has failed. After many years of oil leaks, long before we bought this boat, the plastic features have failed. You see broken bits sticking out the side of these snaps. Here you can see the new one once we've got it on the flywheel. Those are nice, clean, clear white bits of plastic. They're not failed, we're going to be in good shape. So luckily we found this replacement at a good price at ASAP in the UK, and it was shipped to us overnight. Unluckily, however, that darn Brexit caused us to pay silly duties and taxes. But we needed it, so we didn't have much of a choice. Once the new seal is installed, it's back to careful reassembly. Loctite, proper alignments and torques to ensure no failures at sea. Again, it's not difficult, just laborious, requiring attention to detail. Bolts go into holes, nothing to it. No, wait, this isn't the time for improvised music, jazz music. This is time for attention to detail. Structured, disciplined music would be a better fit here. We'll bring the jazz back for the sailing part. There's that new damper again. Nice and bright white and not broken. More bolts and holes. Easy peasy. Just don't forget the order that you took things apart, so you can put them back together in the same sequence. Six more bolts, installing the transmission. Took a little wiggling to align the splines. That only took a minute. By the way, this engine is backwards in the boat. The transmission, while it's on the rear face of the engine block, is pointed towards the bow of the boat. We are facing aft in these shots. I forgot the shifter bracket, so these bolts come out. Shift table goes on, 2 of the transmission mounting bolts. Redo. Pull those back out again. But first, hook up the shift cable, because it's a lot easier to do it before you attach the bracket to the engine. Okay, that's it for today. The new engine mounts. 1 bolt's here, 1 bolt's here. Actually, this one's broken, I'm getting a new one. I could put this one in now. I'll do them tomorrow. They're supposed to be here by the end of the day. Anyways, transmission's in. The engine mount here is the shiny stainless bit. The mount bracket for the bell housing is white. These are the old mounts. And this one, left hand side, had a broken bracket where it bolts up to the engine. So we made a new one. The old one's cast. The new one is a weldment, and it's quite a bit heavier. So it should be strong enough. And less brittle, which is always good. So now we gotta place this old mount with this new one. You can see the thick plate on the bottom of the old one, so we had to have these made to go underneath. Get this out, get the same height. By the way, thank you to LP Yachts. They gracefully received our many parts shipments over the past months, but they also found us a local fabricator to make up our new engine mount bracket and the spacer blocks. So thank you, Yetta and Lars. We really appreciated this help. We needed it. After loosely installing the mounts, preset to the same height as the old mounts, we need to drop the engine down. So the engine's sitting on wooden block, so we got to lift the engine. Fancy tool. The 4108 engine is about 240 kilos, and then the trans and the starter another 20 kilograms or so. But a little leverage goes a long way. One block. And we'll align the mounts later. Right now they're in place. Woohoo! This new thicker mount here is hitting the bottom of the water intake. So I'm going to have to raise the water intake or reroute it or move it. I've loosened the bolts to lift it up off the gap because I can't have that riding on the engine as the engine vibrates. It'll crack something. That's it. Mounts are in. I'll loosely snug them up, and then we'll get to the other end. Mounts at the front. So this engine's in the boat backwards. It's got a V-drive transmission. So I'm standing in the galley looking aft in the boat. There's a companionway. This is the back side of the engine. And the transmission drives the prop shaft back forwards. I'm putting the prop shaft in after this, but you can just barely see it under there. There's a dripless seal. And then the prop shaft enters the transmission here. Comes through and gets fastened with the 6 bolts here. Okay, 4 mounts installed. Prop shafts back in and tightened up. Heading back rearward in boat under the transmission V-drive. And now we've got to put the heat exchanger back in. Excuse me, the exhaust manifold. This bad boy. So onward and upward. Yeah, it's called the sea engine, seawater, exhaust mixer, manifold. I'm not sure what the right name is. And more bolts and holes. Almost back together. The exchanger on, tighten up the clamps, connect the exhaust. And a bit of knuckle bashing. Don't like it when those sockets slip off. Anyways, no more dirty water today. So that's it for this episode. We've made our way back to the boat, and we got only 2 items completed on a repair or replace list. So please come back in 2 weeks and we'll hopefully finish this list and get back on the water and get back to sailing. So thanks to LP Yachts, Yetta and Lars, ASAP Supplies, and all of you for watching. And if you don't mind, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. It'll help us with the algorithms. See you soon.
Beyond the sea, he's there watching for me. If I could fly like birds on high, then straight to his arms